Look at this town. It's pretty, isn't it? This has me wondering which Zelda game has the best of towns. And then I got a video idea. Which Zelda game has the best map? I don't mean which piece of paper is better at displaying the land. What I mean is which game has the most alive towns, roads, any kind of location on the map, and which looks the best. To really explain what I mean, let's briefly look at a different game and let's see what makes it look so alive. Luncheon Kingdom, one of the many kingdoms of Mario Odyssey, contains many vibrant colors, tons of active NPCs, lots of moons, and lots of other ongoing activities. Compare that to the Cloud Kingdom, which has nothing but clouds. I mean, it has a couple moons and maybe 2 NPCs, but nothing's really going on here. Now, which of these two is considered better? You know the answer. So with that ideology, I decided to go through the process of looking around every Zelda game. Well, in 3D because, well, 2D looks like this. I mean, some look like this, but I mean, it's top down, so it kind of just like, it's different. So I went through the process of looking through every 3D Zelda game, and I've come up with a list from worst to best. Let's get into it. Number 7, Skyward Sword. The worst map on the list has to be Skyward Sword. As great as Skyloft is, the Sky Islands around it are way too boring, and seeing nothing but the clouds kind of ruined the visuals. On the surface world, getting by is an entire puzzle, which is good. However, that puzzle is either a nuisance or just plain boring the second time around. So traversing just for the fun of it isn't worth it. There also aren't many enemies or sights as beautiful as other titles. Number 6, Ocarina of Time. Now don't be mad at me that Ocarina of Time is at number 6, okay? Just because the game is amazing doesn't mean that the world map is. At any location, you can take a look around and just see that the game is missing something. There's not much life here, not many NPCs, not many side quests or puzzles, and there's almost no enemies anywhere. Even in Hyrule Field, a place meant to be the connector of towns, the only enemies you'll actually find are at night. I mean, there are these big thingies that attack you when triggered, but you can't just put a bunch of these lying around and call that effort, okay? Now, I'll give Ocarina of Time props because there are lots of climates and many locations and towns, but the rest of the games just have way more. Number 5, Wind Waker. Don't mind my maxed out stats and outfit, I'm just Sigma, I don't know. Now, even though this game is my favorite, it doesn't get a free pass. This ocean is so boring. It's dreadful. The game would heavily benefit from a bigger enemy roster, and it would benefit from more puzzles, you know, games and action in the water. Instead, you have this. And wherever there's action, nothing really stops you from leaving. Plus, even if I were to stay, the fight would be over real fast. I mean, look at this. These cannons can't even shoot at me right. There's also not much of a reward anyway. From my description so far, the game sounds like garbage, but when you consider the islands on the map, everything changes. Vibrant colors, beautiful visuals, interesting NPCs, and many puzzles and side quests await. There are lots of activities all around the map, and on each individual island, there's always something that sticks out, at least for the most part. You know, some of these are lame fairy islands or just have one piece of heart. At least this one has a story. Number 4, Majora's Mask. I mean, this is kind of just self-explanatory. Take a look. The people are alive, there are lots of puzzles and friends to talk to, and the map is evenly distributed. 4 directions, 4 different climates, well, 5 technically, but whatever. I'll admit, some areas seem a bit boring, but the roads aren't bad like Ocarina of Time, and you're not traveling on a boring ocean either. Number 3, Twilight Princess. I know what you're thinking now. 3rd place only leaves 2, which means you already know what the top 2 are. But look, we're not talking about that yet, okay? Just focus on Twilight Princess. I would have loved Twilight Princess to be number 1, but that would just be a nostalgic take. It wouldn't be a real one. Twilight Princess has the best map among all the linear Zelda games, and I'll tell you why. The yellow trails, the raging enemies, the hidden collectibles, the character designs, the comfort of each town, and the unique seriousness of it all. Each building was handcrafted with thought, and the environments were made with a purpose. As dark themed as it is, every part of the map has a story, and there's always something interesting in every location. Whether it's sliding down an icy mountain, which has a very intriguing mansion by the way, or finding the entire Zora civilization trapped inside ice. Also, the castle town in this game is one of the most populated and interactive of them all. And that would make number 2 Breath of the Wild. To explain, I really don't want to repeat everything you've probably already heard before, so I'll keep it simple. Enemies everywhere, lots of them, of all unique types. And climates everywhere. Super hot continental, super cold continental, temperate climates. We've got rivers, lakes, swamps, snowy mountains, more snowy mountains, rainy rock place, super hot volcano, super hot sand, and everything in between. Towns are heavily populated and all interactive, side quests everywhere, people doing things of all sorts. Puzzles are everywhere, whether it's through hidden Korok seeds, Sheikah shrines, or puzzles rewarding collectible items. The map is ginormous, and while passing by, you will always be stopped by enemies or puzzles. It takes 30 minutes to travel from the Great Plateau to Kakariko Village, but it will typically take the average person 2 hours because they stop for shrines, they stop for enemy outposts, and even NPCs. Now, why for Tears of the Kingdom is number 1. Even more enemies! Even more populated towns! Underground caves! A bunch of islands in the sky! Some spooky underground boss fights! The amount of enemy types have increased dramatically, and there are even more new enemy additions. Enemy outposts have changed as well, with some bokoblins staying atop stone taluses, moblins and others being inside these rock things, and mini-bosses like flux constructs and Gleeoks just chilling above islands. The map size has doubled, and yet while they didn't do as much as they could have with the Sky Islands and Depths, the main land is packed enough to say that the map is better than Breath of the Wild. I know it's not much to say, but that's all I got. Now to conclude, thank you all so much for watching. If you really enjoyed, please subscribe. It would do me and you a favor.